5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
ABL fans, this is Mikey Bro here. Welcome you to T-minus episode 2 entitled Pioneers Setting the Trail Ablaze. Corey, you asked and you mentioned that you would like more Vancouver talk, and fortunately for you, I'm off today and I'm going to pick up my kids in just a few minutes, but before I do, I wanted to throw some information about the Vancouver Pioneers franchise that I've been keeping note in my handy dandy Excel sheet on every team. A little nerdy, I know, it's okay. And also went back and researched some of the things you've done so far. Now, you asked for more Vancouver talk, Cubby, and you wanted to know it, and I'm going to give it to you. Is it the right information? Is it an information that is correct? Who knows? But I'm going to give my opinion because, you know what, when you win 8 World Series championships, you can talk, even if you're wrong. Because at the end of the day, all this is just opinion-based anyways. Until we see things actually settle out in the ABL, everything and anything that's said is largely based on opinion. Now, early on, you were talking about moving players in the offseason. You were pushing for a divisional race. You were pushing for a divisional crown. You were pushing for a playoff experience. Now, obviously, the playoff crown was more likely than a divisional championship, given the Marauders are on pace to score 12,398.5 runs. And you're still there. You're 5 games back. Unfortunately, based on your off-sell, despite South Carolina's struggles, I don't see you making the playoffs this season. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is your acquisition from Kansas City as Mizu, the closer. Now, my scout likes him, and you were able to shed Herrera in the meanwhile, but you had to include top prospect Danny Salazar in the deal. You also were able to move Cesar Lopez, Michiharu Shinoba, and Cesar Ortiz, all of which are roll the dice prospects for Kansas City, who made it very known early on and often that he was looking to trade some of his super young crop of prospects for more super young crop of prospects, but at a further target date. So as this deal relates, I don't love the deal for you because my scout doesn't love Kiamizu, but based on what other people have told me, and I did pull them for this part of the video because you did mention that, you know, well, you were the 5-for-1 trade, so clearly you saw something at Kiamizu. I know Irvin was nice enough to share a screenshot, and he had him considerably higher than my scout does. So based on that screenshot alone, I would say this is a plus deal for you. My scout doesn't love it though. Next on is the big deal everyone probably talked about, the guy who was hitting 350, Ishii, who was sent to Dallas for Tsunami Yoshi Ito, who, by the way, he's an interesting guy. I had him a long time ago, way back. Now, he did put up negative WARs the first 2 couple seasons. However, if you look and dig deeper into the actual reason he put up the negative WARs, he was learning a new position. Now, he always had the potential to get to a 58 at center field, which is what my scout has him at now. However, he hadn't rated there. And funny enough, I actually like him better than Ishii going forward. Not only because Ishii has a huge player option, which I hope for Dallas to say he declines, because Ishii is a very good player. This is a career year. I mean, maybe it'd be nice for him to pick it up for Dallas as well. I won't get into that right now. But I mean, player options, whatever. A lot of money, whatever. Your team has a lot of money tied in. I believe $110+ million next year, not including your rookies will be calling up. A couple opt-outs, but that's not until the 2036 season, if I believe correctly of what I saw. So you have a lot of money on the books next year. Ishii's $10-11 million off the books is nice. Now you got Suyanoshi, who I think, based on Dallas's parts, will be pretty close actually in terms of WAR value to Ishii. Obviously, sending a player of his ilk to Dallas is huge for Dallas. He'll get to play him big time on the road, but lefties don't hit in Dallas, and that's what Ishii is, a lefty hitter who has splits favored to the right-handed side. Now, Ito is a 2 to 3 WAR player in years 28, 29, 30, and 31 for me, based on his defense and based on his positional and increasing depth and all that. That's not what I'm trying to say. I can't get the word out, but I'm not going to record it again because I don't have the sound to record it again. But he's improved his defense immensely, and I don't see it being a problem as he was or a liability. Your park is built much differently than Dallas is, and I actually think he's a better player in your park than I did think he's in Dallas, even though he is a right-handed bat. Now, Barrett Lamb, who was 48, 49 true potential, I forgot which one it was. I wrote it down as 48, could have been 49, but he's sitting at 2.5 over 3 stars for me. 3 over 2.5 stars. And I think Barrett Lamb and Ito, I would have done that deal for Ishii just based on, you know, getting off the money and moving players around. Obviously, you weren't making the playoffs this year. Ishii selling high on a 351 average before trade. And you also got back some, you know, Cox, Ahmed Kuzita, and Martinez, who are all flyers, all of which hit at 42 potential plus, but none of which I have as a truly transcendent superstar potential prospect. But obviously, in the direction you're going, Barrett Lamb will fit nice in with the guy who makes $850K for the next 10 years, Miss Cave. If he can just stay healthy, you should have a nice 1, 2, possibly 3 with the other dude coming up, whose name I absolutely, unfortunately, forget as well. I believe you just called him up. You may still have him in the minor leagues. I don't want to call up my window right now, but I forget it. You know who I'm talking about. If you don't, search him out. Obviously, you were trying to trade Kenzo Sakamurakami as well. you viewed him as more of a more than 1 year deal. You're trying to sell him off as someone who should be re-signing him going forward. He's a very talented player. I think I know your strategy. I think you shared a little bit with me, which I won't share right now, but it's a strategy I think most in the league would be able to guess based on your pretty good track record as of now in terms of managing the Pioneers franchise. All your moves, from what I've noted in my spreadsheet, seem to be like-minded, and you have a very solid direction going forward. Now, I'm guessing a lot of this, Ishii obviously trying to get off a little bit of money with the doomsday looming death to all teams as it relates to the revenue sharing slash cap slash fan gate entrance as well. Not including season tickets, obviously, but which are all your own, I believe. Regardlessly, you have a very high payroll going forward, and trading all these players with the injury, I'm unfortunate to Glenn Nurse, your 3rd-round pick with a 1st-round talent. A career-ending injury, first one we've seen in the ABL of someone to note in quite some time. I had him at a 53 true potential. That sucks. But funny enough, you're signing up Tetsu Hara, probably the pitching coach. Is probably my favorite move you've made in the last couple weeks, if only because he got Oklahoma City's guys ready, and I have him as a up-and-coming pitching coach based on his sliders and based on who I see in your organization. I actually see him as a very good signing. I don't know how many of you think coaches matter. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I suppose it's all a preference of what you think is valuable and what you don't. But actually, I do still look at the ratings as they play to who I have, and I actually think he fits perfect. Also, Elvis Sharp getting a good chance gives me all sorts of warm fuzzies from back in the day. Elvis Sharp, obviously one of the inaugural-ish players, a guy who was a 20-game winner, I believe, for Montreal or Las Vegas. I want to say Montreal, but I did notice that you signed him as well, which makes me happy. 5 years, 42,500K as a bench coach. My God, you gotta. Elvis Sharp made a lot of money in a day, so obviously he's doing it for the love of the game and not necessarily for dollar. But anyways, this was going to be the end of episode 2 of T- entitled The Pioneers Setting Ablaze. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a glorious rest of your day.